We're live.
Recording in progress.
Okay, cool. All right, guys. I am Sal Mayweather. This is the Agora. We're here with probably the most requested guest ever, Richard Hart. We have a lot to discuss. A lot.
Should
DeFi
I introduce
hex.
myself?
Yeah. I'm
All right.
gonna yeah, why don't you give the audience a rundown of who you are exactly?
Hello, audience. I can't hear you, but you can hear me. I'm Richard Hart. I'm a founder. I founded a whole bunch of things. I guess the one that I'm most known for is HEX. It went up 10,000x in price from January 5th of last year to about 3 months ago. And that's if you didn't stake it. If you did stake it, you're, 2x higher, maybe more. I also called the top a couple cycles. So I called the top on the day at 65K. And that short, or rather, not short, I don't suggest you short, but that top call has been in profit for 8.1 months now and out of profit a single day. The Judas wick to 69K that then immediately dropped 20% and is now, I believe, more than 20% down. I think we're in the 47K range currently. And then I called the top in 2018 as well. And then I called the 60K market like a year and a half in advance. I'm pretty awesome with the price calls and I just do it for free. What else? I'm forking Ethereum, which creates 10,000 new coins and more than 10,000 new trading pairs. That's never been done before. Might be able to reduce, fees for Ethereum and is the world's largest airdrop. Raised $27 million for charity. RichardHart.com if you want to hear me brag about me.
Well, let's back up a little bit.
Sure.
All right, so I don't even know where to start, man. We've got so much to cover. I guess let's just start off with Hex. Why don't you give the audience? So here's what I'd like to do. I was on a show, Discourse Syndicate, with a couple of friends of mine, Kinetics and the Captain. Great dudes, but at some point in the conversation, they were introducing me to Hex, and at some point in the conversation, I had this like aha moment, like I got it, like it just clicked.
Nice.
And I think that's the case for a lot of people with Hex. So if we could do anything today, if we could do one thing, I want to impart that feeling on the audience as well. So
Sure.
let's start by like just telling them like the basics of what Hex is, and then we'll get into like specifically T-shares and staking and stuff like that.
Yeah, so, money is just a fancy accounting thing to represent actual things that have actual value. So money on its own, you can't eat it, can't build a house with it. It's pretty crap, really. The only thing it's really good for is an accounting system for goods and services. So the only thing that matters is goods and services. And our fake made-up imaginary internet money is better than the government's fake made-up imaginary internet money. Look at the price chart. So cryptocurrency is the highest performing asset in the history of mankind, and it's just a better system. There's less downtime, there's less middlemen, it's more efficient. Maybe less with proof of work systems like Bitcoin, but a proof of stake system like PulseChain.com or like HEX, which piggybacks something that's already eating the cost and makes it more efficient. So what is cryptocurrency? Basically, it's an Excel spreadsheet that lives on the internet that you put your money on. You need your password to spend, and it inflates at 2% a year to keep the sheet honest. That's all crypto is. Then Bitcoin it actually has two software features, and that's it. One is send your coins to somebody else. The second one is mine inflation by destroying the environment by doing this useless SHA-256 hashing, which back in the beginning was the only way that we knew to maintain a consensus network and solve the Byzantine generals problem using game theory, basically. Proof of work, just like animals do. Fancy feathers, big horns. They're useless things that prove that you have enough resources, that you probably have your core base stuff that matters a lot solved. So you have enough to waste. You could go on Wikipedia and look up social signaling theory, sexual signaling theory, if you want to read more about proof of work systems in nature. So all the difference between Bitcoin and HEX is Bitcoin inflates to reward people to destroy the environment in order to protect the network. HEX inflates in order to protect the price because Inflation is only issued to those that lock up their coins, reduce supply, reduce the velocity of money, therefore increasing the price with static or increasing demand. So it's less negative externalities. So every day, every 10 minutes, new coins are mined by Bitcoin miners, of which I was one. I used to get 50 Bitcoin in my computer every so often, just mining with my GPU. You didn't even need to include a fee to send a transaction back then. Those were the good old days, 2011. So I know exactly how much electricity was burnt because I got the electric bill. So, you know, that has
But
those
at the
miners
base level,
yeah.
at
Sure.
the base level, just for because a lot of listeners I have are maybe not, they're
Oh,
sort of green around the ears.
yeah. You
So
buy
at
it
the
and the number
base
goes up and you
level,
get rich.
well,
Number go up.
it's yeah, right. Well, it's like essentially like a DeFi tool, like a CD is, I guess, what base level
Well, I
definition.
mean,
Is that
we
fair?
call it a CD, but it really doesn't have any similarities to a CD. So Bitcoin attempted to address. Bitcoin tried to be. Well, anyway, so to summarize it, cryptocurrency is just an Excel spreadsheet on the internet. Bitcoin has big negative externalities because miners sell coins, they don't buy them. They buy electricity and mining hardware, they sell the coin price down, and they buy pollution with it. Now, maybe only 75% of that is, renewable, but the 25% that's left, it sucks. And the higher the price goes, the more the pollution goes. They're related. So, HEX is just Bitcoin, but proof of work change, proof of weight instead of proof of waste. And so we monetize the time value of money, similar to a time deposit. And so we just copied the parameters from time deposits where you get paid 20% more interest the longer you lock. But the difference is it's a highly speculative, highly volatile instrument that otherwise you wouldn't go up 1,000,000%. So 10,000x equals 1,000,000%. You think that's an impossible number in under 2 years, but it's not. I mean, Bitcoin's already been up 6.9 million x. And that's a lot more than 10,000. So, cryptocurrency is the only place in the world where you see these types of appreciation. And these are real numbers. I mean, I see people buying, this was a gift. This is 3,000 diamonds and sapphires and double-sided. I got this as a gift from a hexagon.
Nice.
That's a
Anybody
good
listening
gift.
on SoundCloud, he's got an awesome hex necklace.
Yeah. I mean, you could Google Bobby White hex, and there's this jeweler that has a 10-minute video of him building this by hand from scratch. No CNC. Every hexagon was cut by hand with a saw, and it was all welded together. And there's a ton of pieces because there's two different metals here, so you can't just like CNC it even if you wanted to. It's crazy. Like, in my experience, I contract with jewelers that do a crap job. This work appeared to be amazing. So when you have something that goes up a 10,000x in 2 years, it makes a lot of people really wealthy.
Yeah, a lot of people have gotten very, very. This has been very lucrative for a lot of people. Hex.
It was given for free to Bitcoin holders, by the way, but most of them were too stupid to claim it because they're stupid.
Well, this is originally like an ERC20 token, right? But you got Pulse coming up, or
Well, it's still going to. Well, I mean, it's always going to be an ERC20 on Ethereum because it can't be changed. It's immutable, unlike Bitcoin. Every once in a while, they go to upgrade Bitcoin, and oops, they introduce a bug that lets people mint as many free coins as they want. One time that happened in 2010, they had to roll the chain back.
dude, the maximalists must love you like they love me.
Oh, they love me, bro. Because I used to be a maximalist back when everything else sucked, but then everything else got good, and those guys just didn't update their worldview. Ethereum used to suck. Then it didn't suck. Now it's kind of back to sucking. Just because the adoption's so high that the fees are so high that the reason it sucks is because people want to use it so much, which is the best way to suck.
A pretty decent metric in crypto. Somebody knows what they're talking about if the maxis don't like them.
They're just so dumb. You're like, guys, from the COVID dip, Bitcoin went up 18x, Ethereum went up 50x, and HEX went up like 1,000x. Are you in this to make money?
Yeah, but you've got Pulse is what? What's the deal with Pulse? Is that you guys are going to right now it's an ERC20 token, but eventually
No. Pulse does not exist yet. If you buy it as an ERC20, you just got scammed. Pulse will not exist. Yeah. No, Pulse is a whole network.
It's going to be a separate chain.
Yeah, I mean, Ethereum hard forks and upgrades itself relatively often. And so we're having a hard fork from Ethereum, but it runs parallel. So the old Ethereum doesn't get killed. And then we introduce all these improvements. So instead of destroying the environment with proof of work, we switched to proof of stake. Instead of starting empty, like all the other, Ethereum killers, we start with a full system state. So you just change one setting in MetaMask, your wallet, and your keys that you have on Ethereum will now give you access to the same coins and the same code on the PulseChain network. You just change one setting. And so now, it's the largest free airdrop in the history of man. And then if there's liquidity for those coins, because people can bridge in their ERC20s to a market maker and combine them with the other side they just got for free, the PRC20 copies, now that liquidity will back the value for all the PRC20s. So it's awesome. It's way faster, way cheaper. Instead of paying $300 to do a Uniswap swap, you can pay like a penny. It's way better. And instead,
is this is switching to is this like a scalability thing, getting away from ETH?
Well, no, it's still ETH. It's the same software, but you just change some parameters. So by switching from proof of work to proof of stake, it allows you to make faster blocks and have lower latency. So you reduce the block time from 13 seconds to 3 seconds. And so you get 4 times throughput just by having faster blocks. And you can also increase the gas limit per block by up to 10x. And you can get a bunch of multiples of X more performance and throughput than Ethereum with the same Ethereum software fixed to use proof of stake instead of proof of work. And we've got a lot of other fixes in there as well. So you'll be able to stake your coins and make yield. Can't do that on Ethereum currently. Not on the Ethereum mainnet anyway. You have to use other contracts built on it to try and do that. But then you're exposed to impermanent loss, which in the system you wouldn't have. I'm not going to explain impermanent loss. It's too hard.
No, that's all right.
I mean, okay, I could. So if you're market making, it means that you're taking both sides of the trade. So if someone wants to buy from you, fine. You're going to charge them a little profit. If they want to sell to you, fine. You're going to charge them a little profit. So you're like a store that buys and sells. But then if the market runs away from you and you have to rebuy your inventory past where you were, you take the risk of I have to rebuy my inventory in the middle of nowhere because I sold lower, So there's some risk to impermanent loss, which is hard to calculate. So.
All right, so I got some HEX. I bought some HEX. I sent it to my MetaMask wallet. What should I do with it now?
Well, it's up to you. I mean, you can sit on it, and people that did that from January 5th to 3 months ago, the price went up 10,000 fold. Or you could stake it, time lock it, in between a day and 5,555 days, just about 15 years. And in that case, you'll make interest. So the longer you lock, the more you get paid. If you stake for 15 years, you're going to get 3 times the shares than if you staked for a single day. So you just... And there's no middlemen, there's no counterparty risk. You mint your own rewards, your own coins, just like a Bitcoin miner, except you don't have to destroy the environment or buy mining
pretty
hardware.
Straightforward.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, what is a T-share?
Well, basically, T-share is just like a share in anything else. So let's say you had a company and you were dividing it. Well, let's say Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin inflates at something like 1.86% per year. Okay, well, who gets that inflation? Miners. Okay, well, how do they divide it up amongst themselves? By the amount of hash rate they have. Okay, well, that seems fair. All right, how do you divide up the HEX inflation, which is a maximum of 3.69%, but it's far, far less than that because you don't have to sell it to pay bills. So if it doesn't need to get sold on market and it's not a negative externality, you can't. Our inflation is better than Bitcoin's inflation because it has to get sold to pay electricity bills. In HEX, it doesn't. So in HEX, you lock up your coins, which burns them, takes them off the market, supports the price, and then, depending on how long you lock, you get bonus shares. And then the profit gets divided up by your percentage of the shares over the total shares. That's it. So it's just like you were,
How many HEX do you need for a T-share?
Well, that's a good question. You don't need to buy a whole T-share, or you can't really buy them. You can just create them by locking up your coins. You don't need a whole T-share. And probably a lot of people don't have whole T shares now, because if you were impressed by the 10,000X, the price went up. The T share price went up further.
Yeah.
So T shares now, I believe, I'm going to go to a site called apphex.win
And just for the
and look
audience,
it up.
T shares are actually more scarce than Bitcoin are. That's something that a lot of people, I think, don't realize.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, right now a T share costs $4,000. So they used to cost 60 cents. So January 5th of last year, they were 60 cents. And now they're $4,000, and they've been as high as $9,000.
It's pretty good, guys.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Well, I mean, Bitcoin tried to be peer-to-peer digital cash, failed entirely. No one uses it that way. Then it tried to be programmable money, failed entirely. No one uses it to program anything. It did manage to do store of value very well, which is why it went up in price 6.9 million X, which is very nice. And that's a better use case. And we do that use case better. So, our coin appreciates faster, is more secure. If you get in before the fork, you're going to get it on 2 chains. And so you'll have HEX on 2 separate chains. You're getting, for free, the other one. It's easy to off-ramp into stable coins to, protect the value of money without having to go through an exchange that removes your privacy, AML, KYCs you, gets hacked, steals your money, doesn't give you your money. Exchanges are the worst. So avoiding them is just beautiful. There's just it's better logo, better founder. When Bitcoin.org was hacked a couple times this last couple months, I had to do emergency live streams to warn everyone. Where was Satoshi, the founder of Bitcoin? Nowhere to be found. So I'm out here protecting Bitcoiners from being hacked on Bitcoin.org's primary website, but Satoshi's not. Better logo, better brand name, you name it. More honest about the price, right on the
Cooler
website.
necklaces.
Yeah, it's just everything's better. Like the only things that Bitcoin does better are they have more liquidity. So if you want to buy a couple billion, you're going to push the price up a lot less. But is that what you want? Do you want it harder for the price to move up? Like that's a feature. You know what I mean? And then, if you want to use ATMs and pay like a 10% fee, I don't know of any place you can do that with HEX, but it's like, why don't you just buy Ethereum somewhere and then swap it for HEX on chain with no counterparty risk, and you're just living the dream. So we'll have a fully integrated vertical ecosystem as soon as we have our own wallet, because we just use MetaMask now like everybody else. They're not adversarial. They're not shoving a bunch of stupid coins at my users or trying to get them a margin trade or anything. So I don't mind sending
Everybody
users
uses
to them.
it.
Yeah. So, don't need to replace those guys. But if you did, you'd have complete vertical integration with store value, HEX, consensus network, PulseChain, on-chain exchange, which will be Pulse Swap. That sacrifice phase will be coming out in the next couple weeks. And then fiat on-ramp's the only thing left. Fiat on-ramp and fiat off-ramp. So, the only 2 things that would... So as soon as we have that, we can just forget everything else exists. We don't have to ever talk about it. We only talk about other stuff just to warn people or to leech their users away to a better product. Because otherwise, who cares? It's like, you want the slowest transactions in crypto? Bitcoin. Sometimes you wait 3 hours to get your first confirmation. That's garbage, right? You want software that's had multiple inflation bugs where anyone can mint as many free coins as they want? Bitcoin. You want something that has been down in price for 8 months? Bitcoin. Sorry, guys. I'm going to go with things that are awesome, and you guys can keep your old dead Xerox machine, MySpace, whatever you want to call it. Have fun with that.
It's sort of like it reminds me of the invention of the automobile. I feel like a lot of these guys, these maximalists, are driving around in Model Ts while the rest of us are working on Teslas and stuff like that.
It's hilarious. They have no... I don't think that they've ever taken the time to understand how out of the game they are. On-chain exchange, everything.
A lot of it is noobs who are trying to get rich and stuff like that, and they bought in at the high in 2017,
right,
and they just want to pump their wallets up.
Right.
I don't know. That's what it seems like.
Hey, I mean, some of these guys are even intelligent. They're just dishonest. They lie. Like the Winklevi twins. They post like, Bitcoin solves inflation. They literally type this crap. And you're like, bro, first of all, you guys have been billionaires forever. Why are you lying and making Bitcoin look stupid? No, Bitcoin doesn't solve inflation at all. Tell me how. How does Bitcoin solve inflation? You going to have everyone buy some Bitcoin? It can only do 1 million transactions a day. You can't put a single video games currency on it. Doesn't solve inflation. It's nice that it's a highly performing appreciative asset, but it hasn't performed as well as, say, Tesla stock. So, you know, if you're out there saying that just because something appreciated, it solves inflation, well, maybe you should be shilling Tesla because it's outperformed Bitcoin. Like, just so
that's why I don't even buy into the whole store value narrative, because it's really more of a speculative rise in value than it has been a value storage.
No, those are synonymous. I would say that that's totally true. Like, almost everyone can get out more money than they put in. Almost everyone bought lower. Like, I think that's a good store value.
The value storage thing, to me, it's like when you put your stuff in storage, you expect the same stuff to be there. But if it's very volatile, whether up or down, you know what I mean?
If you have a longer than 3-year time horizon, you've never lost money. But yeah, if you catch one of those, like it dropped 65% in 2 weeks for COVID, and it's correlated to the stock market entirely. So stock market gets punched in the face, Bitcoin gets punched in the face. So they raise rates. I mean, look, I called the top on the day. So if you're not following me, twitter.com/RichardHartwin, please do.
Let's not drift too far. The audience is probably tired of hearing me bitch about these maximalists.
Well, go ahead. Well, we got to save them, right? Because everyone else is going to shill them this. And, you know, it's like you've got to put your money into some ticker symbol if you want to have access to cryptocurrency appreciation, you know, value go up. So I don't suggest you choose the Bitcoin ticker. I think the Ethereum one has been 3xing it for a long time now. You know, it's almost Ethereum does everything better than Bitcoin, basically. Like, almost.
All right, let's discuss the how-to for the audience the audience is sold, they understand it. Mm-hmm. How do they go about, where can they get HEX? How do they stake it?
Set up an account. If you've already got crypto, just go to matcha.xyz. And
I'll have links on the show notes page, guys, for all this stuff.
match.xyz, and then, you know, type HEX and trade your other crypto for it. You can do like Changelly, Change Now, other things like that. But if you don't have crypto, then you need to maybe set up a Kraken.com account and send money there, buy Ethereum, trade your Ethereum for HEX on match.xyz. And obviously you're going to need to install a wallet. So like metamask.io, install the wallet from there. And that's where you're going to send your Ethereum from Kraken to. And that's what you're going to go to match.xyz with. And then you buy HEX. If you want to stake it, you go to hex.com. If you don't want to stake it, you don't have to.
Staking is probably a good idea, though.
Well, I mean, if you want to delay gratification and get more HEX on the other side, you know.
Right. Staking is a very low time preference activity. It's a very forward-thinking thing.
Well, most people hold. Like, that's what makes the value of crypto go up. Our holders just hold better. I'll give you a trivia question, and this is one of the things why I think HEX should be Nobel Prize worthy. What do you think the average stake length is in HEX?
Oh, I think it's a max of 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go on the low end. I'm going to say probably about 2 years, 3 years.
6 years. I'm unaware of any other financial instrument in history that has had such a strong belief. So if you buy a house, you can sell it, and most people do. If you buy a treasury bill, sell it.
True.
Buy a bond, you sell it. You stake your HEX for 15 years. You can't get your principal out for 7.5, or you'll be hit with penalties. Now, even if, well, it's proportion to how much you lied. So you said you're going to stake your coins. If you do what you said you're going to do, you get what you're supposed to. Profit, more HEX. But if you don't do what you said you're going to do, you get penalized and everyone else benefits from that. All the stakers that did what they were supposed to, they benefit from you when you lie.
Gain.
Yeah. So, if you make like a 1-day stake and you emergency end stake it, then you're going to pay like a minimum 90-day penalty. But if you make a 15-year stake and you emergency end stake it, you'll just lose everything. This is a giant warning. It says like, don't do this. And then if you make a 15-year stake and you serve half of it, you just lose your interest. You don't lose your principal. So the penalties are very fair and proportionate to the amount of lying that you did.
But you're incentivized to keep your word, as you say.
Yeah. Yep.
To
I
see
call it
the
the truth
duration of the
engine.
stake.
Yeah, and we're the only system in the world that has a chart of future market supply. Because, you don't know when Satoshi might dump on your head. Satoshi could dump on your head whenever he wants. But when you see when people's stakes are going to end, then you know when they might dump. And you can look at their behavior and you can see, does this person usually restake? Do they peel some off? Do they just sell the interest and reinvest the principal? You can look at all of this on chain. It's amazing. It's the most open and transparent system really in the world. You can't, if you're on NASDAQ level 2, you can't see what other coins someone's holding. You can't see how much profit they made. Like you don't know what's going on. But in this system, you can tell. You can see this address bought here,
Right.
sold there, made this much profit, held these coins, has these stakes open. It's just amazing. It's a more open and
So now
transparent system.
where do I go to stake? Where do I take my hex to go stake it?
Well, you can do it a lot of places. I think the premier spot is go.hex.com. But if you want to use like different wallets, there's some other sites you can use. So we're redundant.
And
So we've got multiple front ends run by multiple people, and then if anything ever goes down, which it never has, we've had perfect flawless operation for 2 years. But if anything ever did, you just use one of the other things.
All right, and it's a straightforward process.
Yeah, you pick how many coins you want to lock up. You have some Ethereum to pay your gas fees. It's probably going to cost you $30 to end a stake. And then because the gas fees are high, if your stake's a year long, currently people are paying about $300 to end that stake. So you got to actually have more than $300 of profit in that to make it a good purchase, right? So staking for little guys basically got killed off by gas fees.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but PulseChain is coming and is designed to solve those things. And by the way, like what really moves the hex price? Guys putting in lots of money. It's not, guys putting in a little money. So if you lose some of the dudes that only have $30 to invest, it's not really affecting the price very much.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I think the whole rise of DeFi in general is something that a lot of these maxis are sleeping on. Where do you see the whole like DeFi industry as like a whole on a larger scale? Are you
I mean,
in other words, do you see all of it falling under Pulse eventually?
if you have the same ticker symbols, the same code, and the same software, but higher throughput, lower fees, and the world's largest airdrop, I think you're going to grab a lot of market share. And that should help Ethereum's fees go lower by reducing the load on the network, by removing their users. So, yeah, I think it's going to have a large impact. I think it's going to be a much bigger deal than people understand.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be a very big deal.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree, and that's why I wanted to have you on, because I really want to impart this on the audience. I want to I want to help them understand the potential here, because I don't want them to miss out on it. There's a lot of crossover between the freedom community and agorists and
Now,
hexagons.
explain what an agorist is to me.
Yeah, so an agorist is like, we're just a unique form of anarchism where we believe that it's a strategy to overcome the state. We believe that by utilizing the black and gray markets, we can actually effectuate a free society today for all of us, for each individual.
That's not happening, bro. And that's in your username, right? It's in your username. So like, I hate this trash talk. Like,
no, you're good, dude. I get people who disagree all the time, but you actually have done it. You are an example. You are proof of the theory, because it's really just all agorism is a unique form of entrepreneurship that seeks not only profit but also disruption.
Okay.
That's all it is.
Well, that definition seems
That's all
fun.
it is.
My only appeal is like, it seems like things are so screwed up that unless you, I think things are so screwed up, you just have to move. That's how bad it is. It's bad everywhere.
Moving is good for the individual because it'll. I moved from New York to Florida because it's, you go from more oppression to less, but it's not going to hurt the government. The only way to do that is through entrepreneurship. You know what I mean?
I love what Elon Musk is doing to Elizabeth Warren on Twitter currently. It's very nice to see.
Senator Karen.
Yeah, she's like, these billionaires are not paying their fair share. Next tweet, Elon's like, you do realize that I will pay the most tax that any American has ever paid this year. I mean, what a dunk!
She's not exactly very. I don't think she's normal. I don't know.
And then
Senator Karen is a perfect moniker.
His next post was, "Oh, by the way, don't spend it all in one place. Oops, you already did."
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, go, boy.
They probably spent his tax payment yesterday, right? Since the time that she made that tweet.
It's straight up theft. They're literally stealing from anyone that has $1 of value somewhere, like a literal dollar. Like if you have dollar exposure, like if you have a savings account, they're stealing your money because instead of taking your little currency units away from you, they're just making them not be able to buy anything.
But it's hidden though.
Yeah,
is the thing, and that's why people are so stupid they don't see it.
Well,
it's not that they're stupid.
Even if they saw it, it's like they don't have any option to like opt out of it. Like the only way you can opt out of that is to just dump your fiat as soon as you get it. Like you're learning techniques from the Argentinians. They tell you, like, spend your paycheck as soon as you get it.
Well, this is why I tell people to become your own bank. Use cryptocurrency. If you have to incorporate precious metals, if you think that's the way to do it, whatever you have to do to
precious metals are garbage. Why would anyone ever buy that?
I agree. I don't disagree with you, but it's better than fiat trash, right?
No, it's not.
Oh,
gold has outperformed anything. No,
dollars any day of the week.
Yeah, but anything outperformed those. Like any stock, you could have any index fund of any whatever murdered those.
But they're not liquid. You need a medium of
exchange.
That's the
What are you talking about? What do you mean they're not liquid? Stocks aren't liquid? What?
Not as liquid as a silver coin.
Bro, you can't do shit with a silver coin. Can I curse on this show?
I can. Yeah, of course.
I don't know.
No,
bro. I used to have a bunch of gold coins with fish testers to verify they were real. You can shove them up your butt. Nobody wants them. You literally can't there will be one store in a giant city that will even buy them from you, and you're getting far from spot. So it's absolute trash. Gold is trash. Oh, you want to receive gold for payment? Well, go ahead. I hope they've got the good denomination. I hope they've got
transaction fees in Bitcoin.
No, it doesn't.
For for face-to-face transactions, in-person transactions. It costs me $0 to hand someone gold, but
but you have to transport yourself. You have to transport yourself to him. He has to transport yourself to you. You both have to pay for your gas and insurance and speeding tickets, and you have to worry about him clunking you in the fucking head and taking your gold. And you don't have any of those problems when you do a Bitcoin transaction. There's a lot of hidden costs there. I'm telling you, as a person that used to have a lot of gold coins, I could shove them right up my butt. Probably not, but you can't do anything with them, bro. They're absolutely useless. And by the way, if you think they're good for when the SHTF, when the shit hits the fan, they're not, because you go look at when Katrina hit and you go see what people are using for currency then. It comes down to cigarettes, bullets, and I think precious metals. Look, as a guy who owns more gold than anyone listening probably, and wears more of it, it's crap. Wear it if you must, but it's not good to purchase.
Okay, fair enough.
Bro, look at the price chart. It's still down. Gold is down from 10 years ago, and it's only up a 2x from 40 years ago. How can you do worse than that?
In real dollars. In nominal though, or not in real? That's only because of inflation though. No.
No, that would make it easier to do better on the chart. I think that's worse for gold, because if you used inflated dollars, then that number should be much higher.
Right.
So you can't do worse. I mean, what performed worse than gold?
Dollars.
It's no. I'm gonna go pull up the
How do
chart,
you
bro.
how do you
There's
think
very.
you're
I'm
talking
gonna pull up
about
the chart right now. Be
what
very
what metric are you using to determine this?
tradingview.com. Gold ounce per dollar. Here we go. Here's chart. Monthly chart.
Are you saying the price went down in gold?
Okay, here we go. Gold, here's the very specific exact numbers. Gold was in 2011 $2,000, $1,900.
Yes, but now do 1980.
Gold now is $1,800. That's 10 years ago. So if you want something that lost value from 10 years ago, gold. There you go. You would have been better off having dollars. Now look, I could cherry pick and try and like, it was 1,000 in 2015, and now it's 1,700, and that's cherry picking like the bottom. So you could have made a maximum if you waited 6 years. You could have made 50%. It's trash.
I think the other thing though about that is good about the other advantage precious metals have over fiat is that you are in control rather than some centralized legacy banking institution like Wells Fargo or Chase Manhattan or something like that. You are in control of your money and not some bankster.
Yeah, but you get that with cash. That's also what cash does. That's why
if you hold
drug dealers love it. By the
Fair
way,
enough.
if gold was awesome, drug dealers would use it. They don't. They use cash.
Well, Obama did pay the Iranian Ayatollah in gold, and they are some
Probably the
world-class
Ayatollah
criminals.
isn't the best decision maker. He probably didn't have. He probably chose wrong. He should have taken it in Berkshire Hathaway stock. He would have done way
True.
better.
I wonder what that would be in crypto today. That payment.
Here's the thing. Why are we talking about stuff whose ROI is trash? Like what's the best cherry pick I could possibly do here? In 2000, gold was 260, and now it's 1760. Let me do that math real quick. Oh, it's a 5x in profit, a 6x total price. If you waited 21 years, you can get a 6x. It's not okay. We have crypto now. You don't have to. In some countries, you can't even buy gold without paying VAT. In Australia, you cannot buy gold without paying VAT. Pretty sure. There's other countries that have similar issues, right? Like there's countries where you have to pay VAT if you're trying to get platinum. There's countries where the tax regulations just suck. The overheads in exchange are very expensive. Whoever has to receive it from you has to authenticate it, test it, make sure it's not a gold-plated tungsten bar, which exists, right? And then there's just, you literally have to pay an armored truck to move it. It's very high overhead to store. It's very high overhead to transport, and the gains suck.
It's also prohibitable, right? We know that
Yeah.
if they want to, they can make it illegal because they've done it before.
Right. Yeah.
So it lacks temporal salability compared to cryptocurrency.
I like being rich, and I've been rich since I retired at 25 with a 150 employee company doing 60 million a year turnover. So self-made man. I like making money. And so an asset that performs poorly is of no use to me. So, gold is supposed to, the global financial crisis, gold's going to save us. Gold did crap. It wasn't good.
What do you think? Let's change gears here. What do you think about El Salvador adopting Bitcoin as legal tender?
Forcing all of the companies in a country to do a specific thing is totalitarian. But if the thing that you force them to do is awesome, you could try and say, oh, well, they use their horrible totalitarianism for one good thing. But then the question is, like, did they buy the top? Because I called the top in the day. What price did they buy most of their coins at? They're probably at what, like 30, 40K maybe? 25K?
I have no idea.
Yeah. So it might work out for them. I hope it does. People should have given Bitcoin more preferential treatment now that it is a legal tender in another country. So, but you know what? Like, I'm not sure it is preferential treatment.
I have a hard time. No, you think you're right, because now that it's legal currency, it'll be hard for other countries to censor it.
Yeah, but I think it changes your tax basis on how you get taxed, and capital gains is the premier lowest tax you're going to get. And I'm not sure that currency speculation gets the same cap gains rate. If it does, then cool.
I have no idea.
But yeah.
I don't tell people not to pay their taxes because it's illegal, but I do encourage them to minimize their tax burden as much as possible. Keep your money away from the thieves. For sure. Yeah, and
but they're doing such good things with your money. Roads and schools.
I have a hard time overcoming the moral arguments of mandating legal tender, like yourself.
Well, they don't actually. So they don't mandate legal tender. You can accept payment however you want. Hand jobs, cars, jewels, crypto.
Well,
however you like it.
Well, hold on. Let's back up here, because if, let's say, you sued me in an El Salvadorian court, and the judge says, "All right, you owe Richard, $100 or whatever," and I say, "All right, Richard, I'm going to pay you in $100 Bitcoin."
No, but that's not how it works. They can just actually say you owe him a car. The judge can write down whatever he wants. When you get divorced with somebody, they don't make you liquidate all your assets. They just make you move your stuff. So you don't have to pay these things in a fiat currency. You could say that your taxes you have to pay in a specific fiat currency. That would be the case, sure.
Right.
Look, we're both not fans of the government. I don't like them. I don't like none of them. No government. They seem, man, with this, what's going on with the passporting? Nope. It says here right in the Constitution that we have a right to freedom of assembly. Do you know what assembly means? It means go stand next to other people. It's in the Constitution. And you guys are, you're taking that away? Okay. Nuremberg Code says you can't do medical experiments on people.
They don't care about that either.
And you're like, well, this isn't FDA approved. They just changed the rules to pretend it was.
They don't care about that either.
Right. And so, like, I see people violating, I see governments getting worse and worse, and more people's rights being violated and disappearing every day. And rich as I am, I don't have the money to be able to fix that. So I have to fix the things I can fix, right? So I raised $27 million for medical research. Hopefully that makes an impact on helping us, long-term be healthier and happier people. But with like the government stuff, it's really hard because everyone, look, if it was like an outlier and there was some government out there getting it right, it would give you hope that if you just did your politics similar to how they did it, you could get the good outcomes that they got. But you don't see that anywhere. You take Switzerland that has direct democracy. Guess what they just directly democratically voted for? Passporting for your medical history.
Yeah, democracy's a sham.
So you're like, well, that didn't even work. Because you would have hoped, like, okay, this is the one place where they're going to get it right. This is the one place where the people are going to choose freedom. Nope, they didn't.
The only free market, the only place freedom actually exists is in the black and gray markets. It's the only uncensored market that there is. And that's why I try to encourage people to engage in it, because it's the only entrepreneurship is the only tool that we have to move resources, to reallocate resources. So if you want to reallocate resources from the coercive public sector to the voluntary private sector, you have to be an entrepreneur to do that. And I think that's the key. If you look at anybody, like any influencer or anything like that, anybody in the crypto anarchist or libertarian community, they've all been most effective in terms of their innovations rather than their political dealings.
Sure, absolutely. If you're an activist, you're getting nothing done, pretty much. If you're out there screaming and marching, I really don't think you're getting anything done. But if you make money through entrepreneurship and then write checks to these crooked bastards, then you can get things done. Because we see it happen. These big banksters poison pill things and add stuff to bills that just attacks crypto. Now, how are they able to do that? Because someone paid the right guy. It's corrupt.
Because they paid him enough.
Right. And so, you have to kind of beat them to that punch. Like someone in crypto could have paid the right guy to have protected it instead of attacked it. And it's better to be on the offensive in that way.
See, I feel like it would be, rather than trying to, there is a school of libertarian thought that believes that we should try to out-lobby these people. That's anarcho-tropism. People should follow Popular Liberty if they're more interested in that. But I've always felt like it would be better to create alternative solutions that they can't censor and that they can't stop. So in other words, the way around all of the financial industry is through cryptocurrency. The way around gun laws is through 3D printing and making
Do
your
you
own
remember online
guns.
poker? Do you remember that?
Yeah, of course.
They killed it with the port bill. They just murdered it.
I didn't even see. Was that part of that?
It was years ago. I mean, you used to see party poker ads absolutely everywhere. Now you don't see any. Why? Because they added a little snippet onto some port bill that said, "Oh yeah, we're making online gambling illegal," and that
Yeah,
was it.
paid for by
The
weak
industry got wrecked.
casinos.
Yeah, the industry got wrecked by some guy in Washington writing some text into a bill, and they don't even read the bills, and like it's so absolutely
But that
disgusting.
clause was probably requested by
Oh sure,
whatever senator of
yeah,
Congress
whoever
wrote
made
that
money on
bill.
that, yeah, like
Right,
the
exactly, by
people
some
that didn't have
lobbyist.
exposure to profit in online gaming and had more profit from on land gaming, then yeah, those are the guys that were responsible for it, I'm sure. So Port Authority online poker. I'll tell you, this
That's
was
like
like
another.
2007 maybe 2008.
That's almost like another aspect of cryptocurrency and stuff like that, is the whole gaming and tokenization and stuff like that, that I think is going to be pretty disruptive.
It was 2010. Nope.
Are you a big poker guy?
No. Poker, like I'm good at it, but watch my video called Richard Hart Trading Destroys, which is really just kind of used to be like Poker Sucks is what it used to be called. You're basically you're trying to steal another guy's money, staring at a screen or in person, and he's trying to get your money, and you're both paying the rake to the table. Neither of you is producing anything. There is no lasting value whatsoever. When you stand up from the table, you've performed net loss.
This
Whatever
sounds like
money
politics.
whatever money went in, less money is coming out, and the only person that wins with no variance or drawdown or bad beats is the house. And then so you're taking humans and you're turning them into basically unproductive losers that try and take other people's money from them, who wish those people, they don't want you to have their money. But you could have been winners and done something productive and gotten their money in a way that they are happy to give it to you because you're giving them what they want, a good or a service that they desire. And then, so in poker, the guy that actually loses and has to go back to his job and be productive again, he actually wins. So winning at poker is the worst thing that can happen to you because it sucks you into a world of being a loser. Being productive and being an entrepreneur and having employees and doing something that isn't based on your hourly time, that's how you be a winner. You know?
Exactly. And that's how you find freedom today, right? Rather
Yep.
than trying to vote about it, or we're not going to pick up guns and fight them. All those things are absolutely utopian ideas. The only way to effectuate freedom in your lifetime today is to become an entrepreneur.
100%. And look, if you want, I've got free self-help books on this, t.me/scivive, SCIVIVE. I've got all
But
of my,
not just
I
any
tell you how to do all this
entrepreneurship.
stuff.
Not just like regular bullshit entrepreneurship. I'm not talking about going to start like a franchise at McDonald's or something like that.
What's
I'm
wrong with that?
talking about
McDonald's is
well,
tasty as hell.
nothing. Hey, look, if you can, you're absolutely right. There is nothing wrong. If you can make money doing it, God bless. But I think to to encourage a more free society, it should be something that's sort of a cog in their gears, so to speak. It should be something that sort of disrupts the status quo in a way that creates more freedom or liberty for the rest of the world. That's the best thing someone can do for
Yeah,
the
but
world.
like, there's different levels of abstraction to participate in that behavior. Bitcoin's the same crap it's always been, but just now people are starting to hear about it. Well, we didn't need, like, you needed more people to advertise it, you know? So a lot of things are already extant and could be better advertised and adopted, like web hosting. We could all use peer-to-peer torrent-based web hosting, but we don't. Why? It's just not popular, right? We could have a lot of peer-to-peer things because peer-to-peer does work well. Like, Hex is a peer-to-peer currency, but we don't because they're not advertised well. And so, a lot of the times you don't need someone to actually build a new thing. You need someone to advertise the things that are already out there. So I don't think everybody, if you're trying to put power back in the hands of the people, you don't have to build stuff from scratch. It is a good option. It's just nice, but there's a lot of good stuff out there that's just under adopted. Like how many people are using Tor? How many people are blocking cookies? How many people are using ad blockers? I could go down the list of all the things that you could do to improve your privacy and security, and you don't have to build a new business to do it. I think
I lost you there. I think I froze.
you're back.
You froze. One of us froze.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
back.
Cool. Yeah, I lost you there for a second.
I was just saying,
my
like,
internet
there's a
connection.
lot of stuff that works really well
Yeah,
that just needs better advertising. So
there's
being
a
an
whole bunch of
evangelist is
technology
like,
like that.
yeah, being an evangelist
Um,
is as useful as building new stuff, kind of. Because lots of guys, they just can't build new stuff. The new stuff they build will suck. Think about all the bad business ideas you've heard. I've heard so many
yeah,
bad
yeah,
business ideas. I'm like, yeah, if you do that, you just lose money. So if you like
yeah.
losing money and time and not investing in something that could have just went up with no effort at all, yeah, go ahead and do that dumb idea.
So, let me get your thoughts. Because we're coming up on an hour. What do you think about the whole rise of, well, not just NFTs and stuff like that, but like the metaverse and stuff like that? Because that seems to be
Scam.
the hot topic in crypto right now. You think it's a scam,
Yeah.
all of it?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
You don't think there's any potential to the whole snow crash kind of world?
Scam. So a bunch of retarded people that don't know anything about the internet decide to make up a new word for something that we've all been doing for 20 years. I've been playing video games online and bulletin board systems since before the internet existed. The World Wide Web didn't exist when I was playing Doom 2 on bulletin board systems. What was I doing? I was choosing a username, I was going into a virtual world, and I was playing virtual games with my friends while I stared at a screen. When was I doing that? 1995, which is now what,
I was doing Minecraft today too.
25 years ago. Okay. And so what is the metaverse? Oh, you choose a profile and you dick around with your friends in a virtual world. Okay. I've been doing that for 25 years. 25 years I've been doing that. So now tell me what the new thing is. Am I going to speak a different language to my friend? Nope. Same language. Am I going to see a different picture? Nope. Same profile pics. Is he going to have a different username? Nah, same usernames. All right, bro. Well, explain to me what this metaverse is, because I've been in one for 25 years now. We're doing one right now, except we're just using our normal faces. We're in the metaverse right now, you and I, but I can see your normal face. So what's a
But now,
scam?
do you think like over time though, it'll become more like
You already had
Ready
that.
Player One-ish?
COVID locked everyone down, and we all use Zoom, and that's it. And what are you going to have, a more colorful profile pic? It's the biggest scam I've ever heard of. It's like cloud computing. It's just someone else's
Yeah,
computer.
but are people going to buy into it though? Whether
They're
it's a
going to buy
scam or
anything.
not?
Yeah, they buy Beanie
Yeah.
Babies. They buy NFTs. Here's a serial number loosely related to a JPEG that may or may not still be hosted on the internet. You have no rights to the image whatsoever. Go pay $1 million for that. How stupid are you? Dumbest thing I've ever heard of.
The one thing I'll say about the NFTs though is I think you have to give them credit for one thing. They've certainly transferred a lot of wealth from newbies to the crypto community, which I won't complain about.
Man,
Some of these artists have gotten rich just by selling like friggin' pixels.
dude,
I saw one pixel sold for like 65,000 or something like that.
yep. Mm-hmm. If
I
it's
mean,
so, how do you want to look at it? Like some guy robbed some other guy, but the other guy was happy to get robbed. You're like, okay, good for you guys, because
right,
it's
well,
basically like this
stolen his
statement.
money or soon parted.
Yeah, this statement relies on the concept that there should be a revision to the mean. So if it is in fact the case that you can just mint infinite JPEGs for infinite millions of dollars, and then there's infinite idiots to buy them, and there's never a reckoning, and the bubble never pops, then I will be wrong. But that's not the reality that I know. The reality that I know is that there's cycles. They usually last 4 years, which is 3 years of bull and 1 year bear. And we've been in a bull market for 3 years. Dun, dun, dun. And the gas fees are really high, and people are overpaying for anything. And I get 100 emails every single day from people that want me to spam their project. Please, Richard, represent our project. Oh, when does the last time this happened? The end of 2017, the big crash. If you wanted to make this market look more overheated, like Jimmy Fallon of The Tonight Show having an NFT as his profile pic, right? What could you do to make this market look more overheated? What could you do to make it look more risky? I can't think of anything. Oh, and
True.
And now that we do have inflation that needs addressed, the chance that they could actually raise rates, nuke the stock market, and then nuke crypto, it's much higher. Before inflation was so obvious.
Are you bullish on just non-fungible tokens, or are you bullish on tokenization?
I'm not bullish on
general?
any of that stuff.
I mean, I'm sorry.
I think the bear market
bearish,
cometh. Like, I think the top is in. Now, look, new projects like PulseChain, PulseSwap. And by the way, if you like the things I'm saying and you're interested in learning about the things I'm building, you've already missed the day one of HEX 2 years ago. You've already missed day one of PulseChain Sacrifice. You probably don't want to miss day one of PulseSwap Sacrifice. So on all these systems, one of the most popular things on them is on-chain exchange, and PulseSwap should be the premier on-chain exchange for PulseChain, just like Uniswap is for Ethereum, and QuickSwap is for Matic, and PancakeSwap is for BSC, and on and on. Because look, when you look at these systems, like if you look at the Ethereum gas usage, the majority of the gas usage right now is for stupid NFTs. And then second to that is trading on Uniswap. And then I'm not even sure what the other...
very little actual real utility going on there.
That, like Uniswap plus, I mean, we're talking like 40% of the network's usage is just those two things. So now usage is a little bit misleading. Gas usage. NFTs are wasteful in gas. Uniswap's actually very efficient with gas. So, but those are the two primary users of the network. Something like HEX, we're so gas efficient, like, okay, so people lock up their coins on average 6 years. Well, then you're going to get a maximum of 2 transactions out of that user. He stakes his coins and you'll see him again in 6 years to end stake. So there's not a lot of overhead to the network, right? Like, this is the absolute minimum overhead possible. So it's a miracle. And we're very gas efficient as well.
Now, you designed this. This is your baby, right, HEX?
I didn't write the code, but I designed the business logic, the game theory, the logo.
How did you come up with it? What was what's the story? What was your inspiration? How did you what birthed this idea?
Well, originally it was like, all right, Ethereum's better than Bitcoin. Why don't we let Bitcoiners transact their value on the Ethereum network and just give them free coin? So it's called Bitcoin HEX. And then it was like, well, how do we enhance adoption? Well, let's make it become more valuable. All right, where is value derived from? Buying and holding. All right, so how do we make people buy and hold? Reward them directly for doing so. Okay. And then you're like, well, how much extra should we pay them? Well, the same mechanism exists in time deposits. So let's just copy that, 20% extra per year. All right. And what should the inflation rate be? Well, let's make it less than Bitcoin's. So Bitcoin hit 20K with 3.89% inflation. And so we just jumped right to the number that Bitcoin hit 20K with back in 2017 and chose 3.69. And then you're like, well, how else can we get people to adopt? Well, we give coins away for free to Bitcoiners, and we also have a referral program, which doesn't exist now. It was only for the first year. What else can we do? Well, let's introduce dark patterns like they have in banks. Where do banks make profit? On fees, on people screwing up. Okay, so how can we enrich people when people screw up? Well, let's have emergency end stake and early end stake penalties. And what else does this do? It keeps the math honest, and it gives you security about the future supply, which, price is supply and demand. And so understanding the real future supply that could hit the market is super important. And then we just ended up with a killing machine. So HEX, 3letterdictionary.com, a logo that represents exponential growth up and to the right, just like any good price chart, a color gradient, which makes it pop against anything else that may be next to it. This is a better logo, in my opinion, than Apple's logo, Google's logo, Coca-Cola's logo. This thing's really, really, really good. This is good enough to be on shirts without knowing that it was involved with a cryptocurrency whatsoever. So when you combine a great founder, a great community, a great brand, a great value offering, no one's ever done time deposit before, and it's a larger market than printed currency. There's only 5 trillion in printed currency. There's 7.2 trillion in time deposits. I'm quoting you 2-year-old numbers. There's probably a lot more in time deposits now. That's just USA and China. And so we just pack on more and more features, and we're more secure than Bitcoin. And we used to have way lower fees, right? Back before Ethereum got like basically filled up, the fees were insanely low. And we have on-chain exchange, and we have the most open and transparent trading. And so I learned all these, it just kept evolving, getting better and better and better. And then we finally got to market. Like, it took a year longer to get to market than we would have preferred, but this stuff is hard. And that's the reason we outperform everything else, is because more thought and effort went into it. Anyway, so we have.
It seems like you're approaching it from like a technical aspect, whereas what I really like about it is that it sort of provides a decentralized alternative to these centralized financial systems, these legacy institutions that are sort of parasitic and cancerous that we have to get away from.
Yep.
And this is such a great tool to do that, to effectuate that. That's why I really encourage the audience to learn about it, get yourself some HEX, and go back to the beginning and listen to what Richard says about how to stake it. I'll link to that episode that I did with the Discourse Syndicate.
I'm very, very happy with HEX. It has outperformed. Well, I mean, it did what I thought it would do. So at the beginning, when it first came out, I said, this is designed to do better than a 10,000x return in 2.5 years. And then it did a 10,000x return in 627 days, which is like maybe a year and a half or something like that. So it did what I thought it would do, but I think it exceeded everyone else's expectations, because I guess they just don't know my history. I'm a winner. I win. That's what I do. And so if you looked at this design, I just, like, take PulseChain, for instance, right now. I haven't seen anybody talking about it on like the crypto news sites or whatever. Like, it's not happening. Well, they'll notice it's happening when when their users start leaving. They'll be like, the
Maxis will still try to ignore it.
Yeah, you're just like, because now there's Ethereum Maxis now. And you're just like, hey guys, your chain's full, okay? Your chain is full, and it costs $25 to transfer an ERC20 now. It's not okay, it's not acceptable, it's not fine. And there's only one good solution, and that's to build more capacity. And so we're going to beat Ethereum 2.0 to market with all of their own features, but more and better. And you're just like, like our token only, like, it only burns coins. It never mints new ones, PulseChain. So it burns 25% of the fees, and then it never mints new coins. And so there's no inflation. But Bitcoin and Ethereum keep having to mint inflation all the time to pay their miners. And PulseChain, the miners just make fees. They don't make a like block reward inflation thing. It's just better tokenomics.
Right, and that's PulseChain versus Ethereum 2.0, you're saying.
Yeah, and then, gold, they keep mining it more and more out of the ground all the time. It's inflationary. Bitcoin's also inflationary. Ethereum's also inflationary. PulseChain is not. It deflates.
It's deflationary, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and we know from economics that deflation is never a bad thing, despite what the Keynesians will tell you.
Yeah. I haven't done enough research on it, but like, living in a world where macro keeps printing money out of thin air sucks if you're holding the thing that they're printing, but it works out quite well if you're holding equities or crypto. So them printing, them increasing M2 by like them printing money pushes some stuff up.
Assets.
Right. Well, but some of these things will push up in price faster than others. So like crypto is like a leverage position on the S&P 500, and the S&P 500 is like a leverage position on real estate. And then like, these things do oscillate on their own. But in the end, if you just average out their gains versus the dollar over time, like equities murders real estate and metals, and then crypto murders everything that's ever existed ever. And I
think that'll probably continue, I think. Yeah,
I don't see it changing. Yeah. And I mean, it's really simple. It's like businesses are more productive than houses. A house can serve like 5 people at a time, 10 people at a time, whereas a business serves like absolutely tons more people. And then, crypto, it's a function of supply and demand. Even though people are making coins at a high rate, the ones that people actually want are so few in comparison to how much money is being printed that wants to get in. So like the world's richest countries, they all bought Bitcoin already. which by the way means they're unlikely to buy much more because they've already loaded their bags, which means it's bearish, not bullish, unless you have another world's richest guy that wants to follow up. So, guys, you already got the richest guy to buy. People are buying $1 million JPEGs. The networks are full. Jimmy Fallon's got a monkey for a profile pic, NFT. Hey, I think we found the top, guys. I think this is it. Now look, if I'm wrong, I make more money. If the market just wants to keep going up, cool. I got lots of crypto exposure. But, as a guy that's called the top a few cycles, I think the top's in for Ethereum and Bitcoin. And everything is tied to them, which is everything. Like, the things that I'm involved with are not tied. Like, Bitcoin went down something like 10% yesterday. HEX went up 20%. It's one of the few things in the world that's it's like one of the very, very few things. The only things that I see that are really decorrelated from Bitcoin and crypto are stable coins and HEX. And I brag about it all the time. I do these Flores lava posts, and I show all the bleeding and red on every other coin, and then here's the shining green HEX. I'm like, hey, what's up, guys? This is what actual innovation looks like.
Of those coins that aren't sort of tethered to Bitcoin, as you say, the only one that's not sort of tied to the whims, the arbitrary whims of central banksters would be HEX.
Well, yeah, because even the stable coin dies when the dollar dies.
Yeah,
and with a lot of extra counterparty risk. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the nice thing about HEX is it's mostly volatility to the upside. Now, look, you're going to get dips. You're going to get 60 to 70% dips. They happen. And those are buying opportunities for people that haven't bought. But, the guys that sell, they probably want to wait. I personally, I wouldn't sell a 60 or 70% dip. Not, no crystal ball, not a financial advisor. But to me, crypto is, for me, speculation is like, if you have product market fit, and if you have a moat to defend your pricing position, and if you have a good funnel to on-ramp new users, I hate that term funnel. I can't believe it's used. It's disgusting to me. Disgusting. Then, if you've got good marketing, things like that, good community, are more people going to know about this thing in the future than they do today? And if so, I think that's your greatest potential for price appreciation. So the best time to buy Bitcoin was when Satoshi owned 100% of the coins. There was no liquidity anywhere. That was the best time to buy. That was also the best time to buy Facebook stock. That was also the best time to buy Amazon shares, is when the fewest people knew about it. And so I think, it makes something like HEX, PulseChain, PulseSwap really, really great opportunities, much bigger opportunities than Bitcoin that everyone has heard about and everyone already bought, and now is down for 8 months and only did a 3x over its all-time high. And it took it years to do it. It's not good. There's just so much more opportunity out there.
Yeah.
And I don't consider it secure, and it's spaghetti code. The roadmap sucks. They don't even follow the roadmap they have. Devs are leaving it. It's just, why? Why would I ever use it?
So I take it you're not a fan of the Lightning Network then?
Well, it's buggy garbage that no one uses.
Yeah.
There's 10 to 100 times more Bitcoin being transacted on the Ethereum network than on the Lightning Network.
Yeah.
And their golden boy, the guy that made the only wallet that kind of barely worked all right, guess what he did? He made it so that the wallet sends everything but Bitcoin. Everything gets turned into fiat. He stabbed them right in the back, and they're too dumb to even realize it. They have so little going on. Their only hope, their only dream was Lightning, and homie stabbed him right in the back.
I didn't say it, you did.
It was awesome. I'm like, yeah, so let me get this right. You're using the Lightning Network to move every currency except Bitcoin. You don't care about Bitcoin. You're not adding any buy pressure to Bitcoin whatsoever. Amazing. Good job, dude. That is exactly what the Bitcoiners have been hoping for. Well done. Likes it, and they like it and retweet it. I'm like, wow.
They think it's a big victory. They think it's the biggest innovation.
And he's all AML KYC'd. He's all AML KYC'd out his butt. He's got you got to. I'm like, dude, this is the exact opposite of why crypto exists.
They think it's the biggest innovation since the white paper. That's what one guy told me.
Oh my God, the white paper that doesn't even tell you the inflation rate, doesn't tell you about the halvening, doesn't tell you about the block size limit. That white paper, good laugh. Hilarious.
Um,
The
all right, dude.
happening is not even in the white paper.
I gotta take a leak
All
really
right.
bad.
Go
Why don't
ahead.
we wrap here? Tell
Sure.
the audience where they can find you and where they
Sure.
can follow you and your work.
Yeah, richardhart.com for like me bragging about myself and a bunch of links. Got 140,000 followers on Twitter, twitter.com/richardhartwin, about 100,000 on YouTube, youtube.com/richardhart. Could definitely use some more followers on my instagram.com/richardhartofficial. And free books, t.me/scivive. If you go to my oldest YouTube videos, those are self-help videos. If you want to support a charity, sens.org. PulseChain.com is our, replace Ethereum thing. Hex.com, and now Pulse Swap, which is actually going to have a different name. It's not going to be called Pulse Swap, but it's just what I'm calling it for now. That sacrifice phase should happen in the next 2 weeks. And for you guys who don't know what a
So get in
sacrifice
now.
phase is, you lose something that you have to get a valueless token that may become worth a lot. Basically for a political statement. The last political statement was that speech is a protected human right, and blockchains are speech, and therefore blockchains should be protected. And then this next one is probably going to be about freedom of movement. So if you want to sacrifice to support the freedom of assembly and movement of human beings, then you can sacrifice. If you don't want to support that, screw off. Maybe you're not such a good person after all. Yeah. I guess
right.
that's it. Thanks so much.
Okay.
Your JPEGs are awesome. I absolutely love your JPEGs on Twitter. They're hilarious and wonderful.
Love it.
I
Well,
They're joy.
you've certainly pushed me closer to Hex, and I hope the same can be said for the audience. I hope that I have pushed you a little bit closer to agorism and
I think I can
disruptive
actually upload
entrepreneurship.
this. I don't think we said any bad words that often, so I think I can upload this without getting my channel pulled.
We'll
So
see. But I think just the fact that I'm on it will probably get taken down, but we'll see.
where should my guys find you?
Yeah, I'm on all your favorite social media channels at Sally Mayweather, Salvi Agorist, Twitter, Insta, Snapchat, Facebook, the whole nine. SalviAgorist.com, 3D printer go burr for 3D printers and 3D printing supplies. You can pay with cryptocurrency. And Agora Threads for all sorts of anarchist apparel and stuff like that.
Nice, man. All right. Well, it was really wonderful talking to you. I look forward to seeing more of your stuff online.
Dude, I appreciate your time.
See you later, man. Ciao.
Thank you.
Recording stopped.